Ohio State thumps Minnesota 37-7 here on Senior Day, regular season finale, and the last hurrah before they go off to Ann Arbor to try to beat Michigan. Second year in a row, two 11-0 teams playing each other, and the first chance for Kyle McCord to get his shot at Michigan and try to snap this losing streak Ohio State's been on in the game today. Grading him as we always do, 20 of 30, so 67%, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And I think I'm going to go B- on my grade, and that I was really thinking about something in the C range. Because what didn't happen today just seemed louder than what did at times. The touchdowns that he got, they were both on third down, and they were both red zone execution. One was on a 3rd and 4 to Marvin Harrison Jr. One was a 3rd and goal from the 1 on a thing to Cade Stover to get him a Senior Day touchdown. But there was a long stretch in this game where he wasn't really as sharp as he needed to be. And I'm grading him against what we saw last week, too. I think we all expected maybe last week against Michigan State, which is his best game so far, so you're grading him against the best he's ever done, that maybe this would be a step forward, and I thought it was, I don't know if it was a step backward. I guess it would have to be off of that, but I didn't think he regressed. I think it just didn't follow up on that the way we thought it might. And there was a stage of this game where on plays, pass attempts inside the 30, he was like 1 of 7. It took him a while to just kind of get in sync, and some of his biggest, loudest misses, including one that I don't know how it didn't get intercepted, were those plays either in the red zone or near the red zone. So I'm going to say B-, but it's like, man, it's like right at an 80. It's like it's a hard B-, I guess is what you would say. Steven, what's your grade for Kyle McCord?
I'm also giving him a B-, and for a lot of those same reasons. His second quarter was weird, and it was bad. And it was like 2 series in a row where you're just like, all right, Kyle, what you doing out there? Ryan Day said he thought he saw it well. And you asked him, are the things that he is coming over here and telling you, are you seeing the same things, basically, was what your question was. He said yes, and more words than that, but yes, he thought he saw it well. So I'll take their word for it that he saw it well, and that the decisions were not as good. Maybe you saw things, but you maybe shouldn't have made those decisions. But he also said there were times where it paid off, where there was one throw where he's like, did you see the corner? He said, yeah, I saw the corner, but I'm going to throw it anyway. And he got it in there, which I think is the Kyle McCord experience. I wrote this earlier this week. Kyle McCord had a play against Michigan State where earlier this year we've seen him do the exact same thing, turnover, scoop and score, penalty, whatever it is. And on that play specifically, it ends up with a first down because he flipped the ball to Cade Stover. I just think this is the Kyle McCord experience, is sometimes he's going to do something where you're going to go, should you have done that? He's like, no, but I did it anyway, and it worked. And I think there's a place for that, especially against Michigan next week, especially if you get on a playoff stage. Sometimes your quarterback is going to have to make a play. He's just got to pick the right moment to make that play, and so it doesn't come back to bite them in the butt. But that moment is going to show up in Ann Arbor next week. How does he apply it then, and does it end up being a positive, or does it end up being a negative for Ohio State?
And you can't only grade on the mistakes or like the lowest moments. He had some really nice throws in this game as well, including something he zipped over the middle to Emeka Egbuka, I thought. Andrew, your grade?
Yeah, if you were kind of at a low level B-, and what is that, like an 80? I'm at like a 79, so that's a C+. For me, you look at last week, I think we both gave him an A on the post-game pod, and we said this was what you needed to see from Kyle McCord, because, yeah, I know some people are sitting there going, but it was Michigan State. Well, the throws were really good, and the decisions were really good, and the execution was really good. And there are things you can learn from a game against Michigan State that you can say, hey, look, this is progress to the Michigan game. This is progress from the Penn State game, from the Notre Dame game, and you could do that. And today you just didn't see that. There was that stretch where Steven commented in the press box, Minnesota dropped 2 guys right down the middle of the field, and McCord just didn't look off the read. And there were a couple of plays like that where you just kind of went like, did he see the defender, or what? Did he what? And it was exactly that thought process where you start to stumble over your words and you go, what in the world was that? So to me, those are the plays that I have kind of been saying for the last couple of weeks. Like, yeah, they don't hurt you now, but one of those plays can kill you against Michigan in a game that I think everybody expects. Michigan fans, Ohio State fans, college football fans, everybody expects that game to be close. And one of those plays going awry can take things off the table. And all of a sudden, a game that might end like, 24-20, something like that, that is how a game swings like that. So those mistakes have to go away. We have been warning about this for months and weeks and saying, hey, look, the Penn State play, that got overturned, and this play got overturned, or this play didn't happen, or you can't do this. Well, now you're here. and you can't make these mistakes that he made today. There were a couple of throws that went a little dicey, went off a defender's hand or something like that into traffic. Can't make those throws because a team like Michigan is going to be able to hurt you with that. And if you do that, that's a problem, and that's how you're going to lose to Michigan. So C+. There were some good moments, but the regression from last week, I think, was why I have him at a C+.
So they had 5 first-half possessions. They only scored 13 points in the first half. They had 5 first-half possessions. They started at the 15, the 11, the 3, the 13, and the 3. And the 2 that started at the 3 went nowhere. McCord brought up the point that, yes, they drove the ball in the first half. It was just a matter of not finishing them off. And I think it'd be easier to give him and the offense a pass for that, except it's been a problem all season where they get in the red zone or they get near the red zone and they settle for field goals. And it's happened at a higher percentage than Ohio State is comfortable with. And it's just one of those things that it's one of those things that can cost you at Michigan, where it's going to take more than, they did have a great moment going on the road at Notre Dame and winning, but it's going to take more than 17 points, we're pretty sure, to beat Michigan, as good as this defense is playing. I guess that'll be a topic of debate for this week. So listen to Buckeye Talk, wherever you can find podcasts, and get the text 614-350-3315.